Well, hello, and welcome back to part 3 of Let's Play Spyro Reignited Trilogy. And today we have done something a little bit different, because as you may see, we now have using the sunglasses cheat, as it has finally been unveiled the other day. So for this part we're going to be playing with sunglasses. So here we go into Peacekeepers.
Welcome to Peacekeepers. Look how our treasure has been stolen and turned against us. Please, recover our treasure, Spyro.
Collect treasure. Got it.
So now, as I've just said, we're on to Peacekeepers world, which is the second world in Spyro the Dragon. And here's something interesting that I may have mentioned before. At first I thought Peacekeepers was like in the canyon, like the Grand Canyon, but now it seems to have changed it a little bit. In fact, they seem to have changed it totally. It seems to be sort of like Wild West themed now, which is pretty interesting, because it actually looks pretty Dino Mines-esque. So of course we're going to take the same approach as last time, which is to collect all of the gems and rescue all of the dragons from the Homeworld. And I don't understand how I got attacked so much there, but as I say, we're clearing out the Homeworld first and then moving on to the levels. And of course, if you scare 6 of these guys into the tent, you get the skill point. Second dragon, which is of course Magnus.
Hey Spyro, Sparks the Dragonfly has been doing a good job protecting you. Make sure to keep him strong by feeding him lots of butterflies.
He is one fat dragon. Anyway. There's actually an area I used to actually keep forgetting all the gems that's actually on the way down to Ice Cavern. I always used to forget that there are actually gems down there. And of course, just for fun, I'll shoot these guys. As a kid, it actually took me absolutely ages to actually figure out how to destroy these chests. It actually turned out they actually have to use a cannon for it, so. Whereas previously, I spent absolutely ages like looking for 3 keys when there's actually only 1 in the level. For one chest that needs unlocking. Where I actually thought that you needed to find an additional 2 keys to unlock them 2 chests, but as it turns out, you actually shoot them. Although you guys probably can understand why I'd actually think that, because... And another interesting thing as well, them chests, I seem to have noticed that they seem a lot smaller. So I actually confuse them with the original, with the normal chests like these here. So I always end up trying to charge them. Although I should know that they're a different type of chest and that needs unlocking from the original game, so. And that's another thing with Reignited Trilogy as well. The egg thieves are a lot harder to catch in this game.
Well done, Spyro.
Keep up the good work, and I know you'll fulfill your destiny.
Destiny? I just want to kick some.
Just toast those enemies and collect the treasure.
Now that is one thing that is really, really weird, I think, and that is when you have the sunglasses cheat on, like I have now, or you have a coloured Spyro cheat on, or any cheat, big heads, small heads, tiny wings. In the cutscenes, like there, when you're rescuing dragons, it's actually not applicable, so it's as if like Spyro takes his sunglasses off or changes his colour back when he rescues dragons, which is sort of weird. But as I say, another thing as well, as I said previously in the last part of this Let's Play, in the original games you used to jump and then glide over. However, that's actually harder now. You actually have to charge and jump at the end. So actually charging, jumping and gliding actually gets you further, whereas in the original it didn't. Or at least you didn't have to do that. So that should be the last 12 treasure if I am not mistaken. Nope, there is still 2 treasure left somewhere. I wonder where that could be. Sparks is pointing over here. And I do actually think it is actually a good feature that they actually did include the gem finder in Reignited Trilogy. Oh, it's there. So that is the Peacekeepers Homeworld now cleared out. We will now do Night Flight, which in my opinion is a well and truly beautiful flying level, with the night skies, the vibrant colours of everything glowing. Probably one of the easier flight levels as well, much easier than Sunny Flight in my opinion. Well, I always found it easier than Sunny Flight. But that was not meant to happen. I don't know, I am doing pretty bad at this. Although saying that, I should still be able to make it to the end, because as I say, it is one of the easier flying levels in the game. I don't know why, but for some reason in Reignited Trilogy, Spyro seems to like magnetise to and wants to pull himself towards objects that are like close to him in the flying levels, which is sort of frustrating and weird, guys. So that's. So hopefully I should just have enough time to light all of the lighthouses right here. And also for some reason the time limits seem a lot tighter in Reignited Trilogy as opposed to the original games as well, so I may just be able to make this, hopefully. Yes! Well, that was very close. That was so close. Literally 0.1 seconds. So that gives you like 1 minute and 19 seconds to complete the flight mission. That was actually a very close call. I usually do a lot better at this flight mission, but for some reason today I did not, so. Right, sure got very lucky there. So now we are going to do Dry Canyon, which is also another thing somebody pointed out. I think it was Spyro557, aka Jonathan, that this portal here is actually been brought further forward as opposed to it was in the original, because I think there was actually a longer distance to go from here to get to the portal in the original game, which actually is quite believable, because I've actually always thought it was further back. They seem to have like brought it more flush to the canyon walls. As opposed to like down a bit of a sidewalk like it was in the original games. So. It's actually quite interesting that actually he pointed that out. So here we go, Dry Canyon, which in my opinion is a very underrated level. I absolutely love the soundtrack to Dry Canyon. Dry Canyon is probably my favourite soundtrack one of my favourite soundtracks anyway in the original Spyro game. I can't say what my first favourite soundtrack is in the original Spyro game. I mean, I like the Treetop soundtrack. But I also like the High Cave soundtrack from the PAL release of the game, which we had over here in Europe, which unfortunately wasn't included in Reignited Trilogy, so I'm hoping they actually add that in as a later update. Because I actually like High Cave's own soundtrack.
What? Huh? Oh. Thank you for releasing me, Spyro.
Yep. It's got to be on it. But thank you for releasing me. Which is said by like 27 of the dragons in the original game. However, they've actually, like I've said in the previous part, they've actually added extra dialogue, so that isn't as much of a concern anymore. So what we're going to do, the approach we're going to take here is to get this key here before I go to the outer area, which is just over that wall there, because I used to do it the other way around before and I only had to backtrack because I hadn't got the key to unlock the far chest. So here's the next dragon, who goes Dry Canyon rewards good gliders. You are a good glider, eh, Spyro? Sorry, I just know the script off by heart, this game word for word, because I'm a nerd. And I love this game, so hey.
Dry Canyon rewards good gliders. You are a good glider, eh, Spyro?
I was born to glide.
Of course, there's far glide round here. So now we can go and get the key. I'm not too sure what the audio is going to turn out like in this part, because I'm actually trying the microphone in an actual different position. So hopefully it's going to pick up less fan noise and it's going to pick up my voice clearly. And another thing as well, I shouldn't be saying as much in this part.
Incredible glide, Spyro. I thought I'd be stuck here forever with those ugly vultures standing on my head. Those birds might look tough, but they're pretty tasty. Flame broiled with a pinch of salt.
As I was saying, hopefully in this part I shouldn't be saying the word as I think about something as much, because I've actually watched some video tutorials on YouTube, guys, on how not to say which is actually pretty, you might think it's pretty weird and pretty odd, but it is actually a habit I need to get out of, and I've actually been really bad at it in my last part of this Let's Play series. So, and it actually turns out the way you do it is to actually close your mouth when you're actually thinking about the next thing you're going to say, instead of leaving it open, because that's actually how the word and are end up coming out. So that actually might be a bit of handy advice if any of you do YouTube. So when you're thinking about the next thing to say, close your mouth, so that should stop that and R sound from coming out. So
Is that you, Spyro? Are you the young dragon I've been hearing so much about? Ever since you were a wee puff of smoke, we've known,
You've known...
I forget.
So of course, to clear this area out to the right here first. And that's on my first 2 playthroughs of Spyro Reignited Trilogy. I've actually charged over this wall, which is something I've actually never done before. Because as I say, the new mechanics do take a bit of getting used to. Another helpful thing as well, you can actually see shadows of enemies in the distance, which can actually come in pretty helpful. You know, so we can prepare what's actually around the corner, which of course the original game did not have shadows, but shadows are now here, which is actually pretty helpful, like I previously said. So that's actually a nice addition that Toys for Bob's actually included here. So now we have to do this long glide, which I pretty much mess up on every time because now you can no longer just jump it over. So I'll try to do it without the charge and see if it works. I pretty much doubt it. Or you can do it if you're precise, like I just did there, but 90% of the time it will not work. So you now actually have to charge to glide. So. So there should be a 5 in that one, there should be a 2 in that one. And then that is Dry Canyon fully completed. So as you may see, it's 100% level complete. So that concludes Peacekeeper's Homeworld, Night Flight and Dry Canyon. So I will of course see you all in the next part, which will be part 4, where I complete the rest of the Peacekeeper's world. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I sure hope you enjoyed it, and please stay tuned for the next part. So peace out everyone.